Time for the business news now for you on the programme, and with us here on set we're going to start with the latest results from the airplane builder Airbus, and Stephen Carroll, our business editor, has got all the details for us. Stephen.
Stuart, 2019 was the year that Airbus really benefited from the troubles at its main rival Boeing over the grounding of its 737 MAX. But Airbus also faced its own financial challenges, and in particular a massive settlement related to corruption and bribery allegations. Now, both of those stories reflected in the company's 2019 results. Its revenues up by 11% to over 70 billion euros. But overall, the company did report a net loss for the year of 1.4 billion. That's because of what they're calling exceptional charges in their results. That includes 3.6 billion euros that relate to that legal settlement with authorities in France, the UK and the United States, while the troubled A400M transporter plane model continued to weigh on the company's finances. That costed another 1.2 billion euros in 2019. 2020 looking a bit brighter for the company, though. They have a strong order book for new planes, but Airbus says it hasn't factored in any impact from the coronavirus outbreak. Well, meanwhile, the virus has led to the cancellation of Mobile World Congress, the biggest event of the year in the telecoms industry. The organisers in Barcelona say the decision was made on Wednesday after a number of big-name companies pulled out. The cancellation will have a massive impact on the local economy, as it usually brings 100,000 people to the city. Catherine Viette reports.
In the end, the show won't go on after organisers cancelled this year's Mobile World Congress. The decision to pull the plug came after many of the event's top exhibitors, including British Telecom, Orange, Nokia, Vodafone, Ericsson and Amazon, said they wouldn't attend because of fears over the coronavirus. In a statement, the organizers said the global concern regarding the coronavirus outbreak, travel concerns and other circumstances make it impossible for it to hold the event. More than 100,000 people usually attend the world's biggest mobile technology fair, with about 6,000 traveling from China, giving a boost to Barcelona's economy.
The MWC represents around 500 million euros in 3 to 4 days. It gives us the feeling that, if not the biggest, it's the best week for Barcelona.
Before the organizers made their decision, government officials sought to reassure the public.
There is no health reason to suspend any event to be held in Barcelona, to be held in Catalonia.
The Spanish officials' refusal to declare a health emergency may have financial consequences for the event's organizers. Without such a declaration, industry experts say it's unlikely that insurance policies will cover the cost of cancelling the event.
There's been a sharp drop in the rate of unemployment in France. The National Statistics Office says the jobless rate fell to 8.1% in the last 3 months of 2019. That's the lowest in 11 years. In the previous quarter, it had been at 8.5%. Meanwhile, the French finance minister has been speaking this morning about the impact of the coronavirus on the French economy. He says it could knock 0.1% off the growth rate in the first quarter of this year. The International Monetary Fund has begun talks with Argentina's government over how to manage its massive debt. There were protests in Buenos Aires as the talks began, with people calling for the IMF to leave. The fund is there to help the government renegotiate more than $100 billion worth of debt as it faces deep recession after a currency crisis. Argentina is currently the IMF's biggest debtor, with $44 billion in loans. The country's economy minister says they've developed a growing mutual understanding with the fund.
The country is facing a debt burden that's preventing it from getting out of this recession spiral, out of this free fall that the country's been experiencing. The International Monetary Fund is also responsible for the debt crisis and the economic crisis that Argentina's experiencing.
Let's take a look at what's happening on the markets next for you. European shares starting the day in the red. Airbus shares actually down 2% at the open after their net loss reported for this year. The French drinks company Pernod Ricard also seeing shares fall at the open. It's been warning about the impact the coronavirus will have on its sales this year. In trading in Asia earlier, news of that jump in cases of the virus hit the rally that we've seen in recent days on the markets, right across the boards in Asia today, but fairly moderate gains, so analysts saying they're not really seeing it as a panic move just yet. Well, finally, for me, Nestlé has scrapped a line of low-sugar chocolate bars because of what it calls underwhelming sales. The Milky Bar Wowsums had 30% less sugar and were sold in the UK and Ireland since 2016 before being quietly scrapped last year. Now, they had been billed as a potential game changer for food companies trying to reduce sugar content. Nestlé now says it's working on the next generation of sugar-reducing techniques for products that will be launched later this year. People just love the sugar.
Exactly. What do they taste like?
I don't know. That's
I've
the
never
problem.
heard of them.
Well, that might be part of the problem.
That's part of the problem.
Yeah.
Stephen Carroll with Business on France 24.